Liar, liar, pants on fire. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
I am not. My pants are not on fire.
Hype Network presents.
Welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. This is the LTG Show Podcast.
Hey folks, my name is Rajiv Doreswamy and I'm the host of The Rajiv Show. Check out The Rajiv Show at The Rajiv Show both on Facebook and Instagram, and new episodes will be released every Wednesdays. Cheers folks, and stay safe.
It's Friday. Oh shit. And you know what that means. Welcome to your final. Okay, final na to. Final episode of the year before the Bash Awards episode of the MTG Show Podcast, Wrestling Podcast. Okay, so itong episode na to. Sobrang normal na, di ba? You're welcome to your unfiltered Tagalog Wrestling Podcast. And this is the MTG Show Podcast. Now, this week, it's very different because ito na yung last episode natin for 2021 before the Bash Awards. So, it's gonna be a big episode. Sana di na ma-fuck up. For fuck's sake. Kasi last week, halos di ako makahinga sa sobrang inis. I wish today it's a different day and different scenario. And sana tumino na yung aking cables. Kasi cables ang pinagmulan ng problema ko last week. And I hope na papag-usapan natin on this whole episode yung takeover plus the farewells of Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano plus the release of Jeff Hardy that we're going to discuss first. Bago tayo magpatuloy, so syempre malapit na ang 12/12 in less than 2 days. So, Lazada, if you want to support the podcast on the upcoming Lazada 12 Grand Christmas Sale, the biggest sale of the year, please support the podcast by using my link, podlink.co/6gs. Again, that's podlink.co/6gs. And all of the things that you can buy on Lazada, and pag na-add to cart mo na, dabating yun sa inyo, and pwede yun makatulong here on the podcast. So, just a reminder as well that meron na lang tayong ilang araw until December 14. December 14 is the deadline for the Bash Awards 2021. If you haven't voted yet, please vote as soon as possible. No? And magsasara yung votings on the 14th at exactly 11:59 p.m. Ayun, so yun lang reminders natin for the Bash Awards. Next week is gonna be a big episode. Special episode. Hindi ako magre-review ng kahit ano next week. Instead, it's gonna be a Bash Awards episode just like what we did last year. So, subukan ko nga i-review kung ano yung mga pinaggagawa ko last year. To be honest, di ko na alam kung ano yung ginawa ko last year. And I hope napag-isip-isip na ako kung ano yung decision and kung ano yung picks ko for the three major categories: the men superstar of the year, the woman of the year, and the match of the year. And the rest ng categories is fan vote. So, believers ang nag-decide noong ibang categories. So, yun lang. Ang dami ko pa sinasabi. Sorry. Ang dami ko sinabi. Wow. 4 minutes. Dami ko na agad sinabi. Ayan, sige na. Let's start the show. So, we're going to talk about takeover, war games. Kasi wala na nga palang takeover. So, we got war games. We got the recent pay-per-view, the NWA. Recap tayo siguro. We're going to do recap of NWA Hard Times 2 and the TripleMania event that happened last December 4. So, yun lang. And then, basically, happenings in professional wrestling. Ayun lang sa akin. Let's start the show. So, let's start with Jeff Hardy. So, sobrang breaking news ito. Siguro, narinig nyo na to o nakita nyo na to sa social media. If hindi pa, ito. So, at exactly 12 here in Manila, siguro, I think it's 12:10, 12:20. Meron tayong nakitang tweet from Fightful na kung saan Jeff Hardy got his WWE release. And actually, we don't know the full details of what happened on Jeff Hardy during that live show or house event last week. So, the context here is may tour and then si Jeff halos unconscious in the whole match. I think the reason, wala pa tayong nakikitang reason and wala pang reason na buo for that. Pero ang iniisip ng tao and fans is probably drugs or alcohol. And for me right now, I wish na lang din na makakuha ni Jeff yung help na gusto niya, and I wish na limitahan niya din yung wrestling niya because we all know na wala na rin si Jeff sa kanyang prime. No offense sa mga Jeff Hardy fans, but yun ang totoo dito. Sorry guys. And wala na sa prime si Jeff. I hate to break it to you. But, yun Okay, so let's talk about war games now, shall we? So, war games took place last Sunday, Monday, Manila time on WWE Network. Ito, recap na lang to. So, maganda yung war games. Ito, first, personal opinion ko. I love the war games. Let's start with the war games matches, men and women. So, women's match between Team Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray, and Cora Jade versus Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai. Personal thoughts on the match? Personal approach alone, mas gusto ko to kaysa sa men's war games. Yung men's war games kasi to me is passing the torch. Understandable yun. Ito mas personal to for me. And on the way I see it, mas maganda yung naging finished product nitong men's kumpara sa women's. Pero mas maganda yung naging approach for me ng women's war games rather than the men's war games. I can say then na men's war games won in terms of storytelling. Pag storytelling mismo about the match, I can tell na men won that stuff. But the simple difference between this year's men and this year's women is the women's side. I think mas nagustuhan ko to kumpara sa 19 or 20. Not because of anybody who competed in that WarGames match. I think I love kung paano nila na-approach yung match at kung paano nila na bigay yung tamang mix and kung paano nila napag-halo yung ingredients for that WarGames match. So that's why I love the women's WarGames. The men's side naman, the men's side of things here in the WarGames, I love on how they cemented Braun Breaker as their main guy. Because definitely, ito na yung nag-cement sa kanya as the main guy on NXT. And definitely, he's going to get the championship for sure. Kung makukuha niya na yung championship, that's for sure. And umaasa ako looking forward na he will be the one for Jeff, for Braun Breaker to win the championship from Tommaso Ciampa on January 4, probably. Or the next future pay-per-views or whatever it is. Pero umaasa ako that Braun Breaker might get the title as soon as possible. Yeah. Also, for me, I want to give props to, syempre kay, Grayson Waller. Parang, motherfucker. I love that shit. I swear, guys. Kung kumpara niya talaga to, mas gusto ko to kaysa sa 2020 kasi is kinda, alam mo yun, I love UE. Aminin natin, I love UE, Undisputed Era. But the 2020 War Games is such a disgrace. I don't know. Parang ano lang siya, parang formality na lang para manalo UE ulit. Kasi if I remember, talo ang UE nung 18, talo ng 19. Tama? Kaya that's why we got the War Games 2020 and we got UE won the match. 2021 is a different year because almost every members of UE left the motherfucking company. And to be honest, di ko rin masisisi why they did that. And ito, let's move on. So we got the NXT Tag Team titles between Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly versus Imperium. Man, if may hanapin ko yung match from War Games, this should be the one that you need to look forward. Sobrang sobrang swabe, hindi ako binigo nito. I know na retain, but I think this match stole almost everything of my shit. Si Fabian, sobrang sobrang galing niya. Fabian, sobra puta. I think he is the MVP of this match. Definitely the MVP of this match. And I wish na may rematch pa, but unfortunately, may explain natin kung bakit. And then, we got the hair versus hair match between sino nga ba naglaban nito? I forgot who the fuckers in that UE match. Si wait, I forgot. Sorry guys. Medyo okay, di ako masyadong popular sa mga NXT guys. The hair versus hair match is okay lang. That's pretty good. Na-deliver nila yung gusto nung i-deliver for the match. Although, the two problems that I saw on this one is number one, why? Bakit nila nilagay sa position na to si Cameron Grimes? I know there's a story running, pero wala, I don't get the point why they need to put the hair stick. To be honest, I don't know. Sobrang lame lang ng ganong stick. And sobrang sobrang bantot. Awan ko, nababantotan ako. But regardless, maganda yung match. I love kung paano nangyari yung match. Walang bias to ba? First time ko ata magsabi ng positive about NXT. himala eh. Sobrang himala nito. And I love this match. Unlike the tag, mas gusto ko yung aspect nito, mas gusto ko yung naging aspect niya to. But the match itself, doon pa din ako sa NXT tag. Clear na yun. And then, the Cruiserweight Championship, Joe Gacy versus Roderick Strong. I think this match is not bad. Not my favorite. Not my best match. But I think maganda yung ano nito, napatunayan nito sa akin na Roderick is no longer the cruiserweight guy. He is more on a mid-title champion, same as Carmelo Hayes. Hindi na cruiserweight title yun. It's more on a X division pero nasa WWE. Yun ang way niya for me. Yun ang naging approach niya sa akin sa segment sa match na to. That's why I love on how they approached this stuff and kung paano na-deliver yung match. I swear, I love the match daw. Kaya lang medyo na-upset ako a little bit na talo si Joe Gacy. Siguro nag-expect ako na magkakaroon na ng tawag dito, ng intergender, pero hindi. Siguro sa ibang pagkakataon bigyan din siya ng tyro. Sige, move on na tayo sa NXT this week. There's a lot of developments. Number one is, of course, the split. Nag-split din agad sila Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. In-attempt ni Braun atakihin si Kyle, but naunahan siya ni Kyle O'Reilly. And nag-taunt siya ng UE taunt. Backstage, nag-challenge siya kay Von Wagner ng takeover ng WarGames. Nag-taste siya ng challenge in a steel cage match. So, we got the steel cage na nag-open ng NXT this week. So, NXT this week, this very steel cage match is ito na yung parang nag-write off kay Kyle. Wala akong problema, wala rin akong complaint. Number one, bakit? Kasi parang ni-write nila properly si Kyle dito. He lost the match, check. May na-put over, check. NXT 2.0 talent, hindi nanalo, check. Definitely. And that's how to book a 2.0 guy. Guys, ganyan dapat. If may titira pa kayo na hindi 2.0 guy, it should be Ciampa. Baka nga sipakin nila si Ciampa after na madrop yung tyro. Pag nagawa nila yung magdidismaya ako ng sagad yago. Seryoso. And then na yun, so dagdag natin Santos Escobar, the match versus Zion Gwen. I think this match is building up something na need natin din i-look forward siguro. Yung kay Elektra Lopez na panapos, yung paglalagay niya ng brass knuckles. I think may may kasunod pa to na we need to find out. Pero hindi ko pwede sabihin na we need to find out what's next kasi we know WWE is ruining shit. Alright? And then, sige, we get the smaller stuff. Number one, yung kay sa MSK. I-reveal na yung parang, ang tawag doon? I forgot what the fuck it is. Sino nga yun? Sorry guys, di ko pinanood lahat ng segments ng MSK na yun. Kasi number one, naiirita ako. Number two, nababanas ako lately sa MSK. But, definitely, ito yung return ni Riddle sa NXT 2.0 after almost 2 years. 2 years ba? 1 year lang. I think it's 1 year. No, 1 year. 1 year. I think it's 1 year after ng isang taon, after niya mag-debut sa main roster. And then, ano pa? Let's talk about the main event itself. So, the main attraction is the Johnny Gargano stuff. So, nag-address siya sa crowd na possible na umalis na nga siya ng company. And then we got Grayson Waller. What a freak, man. Seriously, I love this character ni Grayson Waller na sobrang aggressive and just like that, he got like Champa 2018 vibes to me. Ganun yung nare-remind niya sa akin. And sobrang ganda lang ng pag-write off nila kay Gargano kumpara kay Kyle. And take notes Raw and SmackDown. Ganito dapat po siya. Ganito dapat mag-build o mag-set ng talent out. Ganun dapat. Hindi yung sisipahin niya sa main bullshit. Sobrang dismaya ako on the recent releases. Wala, di nyo din masisisi na nag-release. Pero din naman, dahilan nila dito, budget cuts na naman. Sige. So basically, yun lang for NXT and TakeOver WarGames or WarGames. Lagi nang may TakeOver. Man, if marinig nyo akong may TakeOver, bilangin nyo ko ilang masasabi ko TakeOver po siya. Kasi nowadays, mas nasanay talaga ako na may name na TakeOver doon sa matches or sa events na yan. Ayan, so sige, let's do the recap for the scores before we go to the commercial break. So, the Women's War Games 4-5. The Tag Titles match 5. Both hair versus hair. Tsaka Cruiserweight title 3 out of 5. And the Men's War Games is 5. If papanoorin nyo itong War Games, unahin nyo yung NXT tag. I swear, hindi nyo mare-regret yun. And then, let's mix the War Games matches as well. Yung dalawang matches, kahit wag na siguro. And yun lang ang rankings ko for the final pay-per-view of the year for WWE. So, when we come back, we're going to do a recap as well of NWA Hard Times 2 and the TripleMania Regia plus Raw, SmackDown, and of course AEW. Yan, when we come back. So, just a reminder din muna na sabi ko kanina malapit na yung ating Bash Awards 2021. And gusto ko yung i-remind lang na malapit na matapos yung ating voting period. The voting period ends on December 14 at 11:59 p.m. If you want to vote for this year's Bash Awards, please join our Discord community or our Facebook community, or please check the description of the episode below. But please, sumali muna kayo sa Discord or Facebook bago kayo makaboto. No? So, yan. When we come back, we're going to do a pay-per-view recap pa sa AAA and sa NWA, Raw, SmackDown, AEW. But first, let's check our other kapodcast here on Pipe Network.
Gusto niya bang malaman kung paano kami nakikipag-collab sa mga brands in the MT Show podcast? We use Podmetrics, the easiest way to monetize your podcast. If meron kang podcast, sign up now at podmetrics.co and use my code DMTGShowPod to get full control on how you monetize your show regarding of its size. Again, sign up now at podmetrics.co and use my code DMTGShowPod. If you're an advertiser who wants to collab with us, head on over to advertiser.podmetrics.co and fill up the form. Again, Podmetrics, the easiest way to monetize your podcast.
If you want to learn something new or useless about the world around you, why don't you try listening to the Banyu Podcast Reflushed on Spotify, Anchor, or any podcast app that you use?
Okay, so we're back on the podcast. So, pag-usapan natin yung pa ba? We need to talk about the... Sige. Mamaya tayo mag-talk muna. Mag-add muna tayo. So, we need... Alam niyo ba na meron tayong ginahan na VPN? Gumagamit ako ng VPN. As a user of VPN, alam natin kung ano dapat yung pwede nyong magawa in a VPN. So, ako kasi subok na sa akin ang paggamit ng VPN. Pero syempre, ito may re-recommend ako sa inyo as a user of NordVPN. So, si VPN actually, nakapag-block yan ng mga stuff and makakalabas yan from your home country to outside of the country, especially kung ano yung pinili mo na server. So, yung mga VPN kasi pwede mo din magamit pang access sa mga stuff na hindi mo pwedeng ma-access using that. For example, Disney Plus. Kasi di ba available yung Disney Plus sa atin here in the Philippines. So, if you want to access Disney or some content na hindi nyo ma-access here in the Philippines, you can use NordVPN. And ako here in the podcast, I got some offer for you. So, ito 2 years plus 4 months for only $89 or 4,473, I guess. Convert nyo na lang sa pesos kung kano yung $89 right now. So, bale, that's 28 months of VPN subscription. So, to start your subscription, visit podlink.co/bwn. Again, that's podlink.co/bwn. Okay. So, let's move on to our Hard Times 2 and TripleMania Regia reviews. So, konti lang to. I'm going to do a recap lang. So, nangyari sa Hard Times kasi magkasabay ito tsaka yung TripleMania Regia. So, it's the 3 major matches that we got on the card is number 1, Nick Aldis versus Tom Latimer in a grudge match with no interference on the match. I love on how they executed the match and gusto ko din kung paano nila dapat i-write off si Nick on this one. So that's why gusto ko mo props dito sa NWA because they did a really good job on that. And then number 2, Camille versus Melina for the NWA Women's Championship. I think sobrang maganda na yung stuff dito ni Camille. Kailangan nyo din subaybayan to if you're watching NWA. No? And finally, the main event, Trevor Murdoch versus Mike Knox for the NWA title. Man, can we talk about this ba? Kasi naiklian ako dito. Sorry guys. Sobrang naiklian ako dito. Ewan ko kung bago sa paningin kong ganito kaikli. But I think sobrang ikli nito. I swear, I don't need to talk about this. Plus, let's add Matt Cardona just made his NWA debut by beating up Trevor Murdoch after that match. And yeah, so yun lang. So we got made a lot of stuff from Hard Times. If you want to watch Hard Times, check nyo na sa fight. And then, syempre, TripleMania Regia. Nangyari din, same night. So, Rio Di Vikingo walked out as the AAA Mega Champion after he defeated 4 other guys. So, it's Bandido, Jay Lethal, Bobby Fish, and Samurai Del Sol. And okay lang yung match for me. Di ako gano'n nag-expect kasi it's kinda last minute. Parang last minute na lang binigay itong match since Kenny has to vacant the championship. And yun lang. And then, we got a return sa pagkatao ni Taya Valkyrie and that title match between FTR and Lucha Bros, not the same. But let's say, ito, facto. Di na ako na-excite sa matches ng FTR tsaka ng Lucha Bros. Kasi halos ginagawa na siya every week. Sobrang gasgas na nun. Like, what the fuck? Bibigyan niyo ba sa amin yung Mala Johnson na Randy Orton booking on this? Because it's such a good crap. Serious. Sobrang basura nito. I know AAA or AEW knows how to book a better story, but what the hell? Sobrang shit nun. Seriously. Okay, layo-layo na tayo ng konti. So, we're going to talk about Raw right now. So, number 1 is that steel cage match between Kevin Owens and Big E. Non-title, of course. I think I love this stuff. Sobrang nagustuhan ko tong stuff na to as much as I hate the idea on the end na papasok nila si Bobby Lashley sa title picture. I think mas nagandahan ako ng konti dito sa kung paano nila in-execute tong steel cage match na to. Plus, the story between Owens and Seth plus Big E and Seth. I think sobrang nagko-complement siya sa isa't isa. However, since gusto nila ipasok si Bobby Lashley dito, sobrang basura nun sa akin. And unnecessary stuff na yun. Parang paparamihin nila yung match since we're getting a big event on January 1. And sobrang basura niya for me. No? And then, sige, let's talk about Priest. Damian Priest versus Robert Roode for the US title. That match, sinusuntok niya yung utak ko habang pinapanood ko. While I'm watching this match, parang sinusuntok niya yung utak ko eh. No? I love the intensity of those two. And then, sige, we talk about Doudrop and Bianca Belair. Munti ka na ako magano dito eh, no? Munti ka na akong magulat dito or something. And, hindi man ako binigo. Ito pa, hindi ako binigo ni Bianca. I love Bianca as always. And I swear this is one of her best matches in NXT. Na, hindi ko makakalimutan tong match na to. Since in NXT or SmackDown or Raw, I think ito yung isa sa mga matches na I think na-delivered. And then, sige, we got the Miss TV. So, we got Edge. On that Miss TV, he challenged Miz for a match. So, they won. Miz accepts the challenge. And, yeah. I think we need to look forward since day 1 is gonna be a big event. Yun ang isa sa mga bagay that we need to look forward. Sige, finally, the main event, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Raw Women's title. Man, the hype on this is so big. But why? Bakit? Anyari? Anyari ito? Isipin nyo naman na let the story play out. Let the story play out. What the hell? Yan na naman yung gagamitin nyo sa amin. Kasi, pag nagpo-play out sila, minsan nag-error eh. Minsan hindi na ginagawa yung write-off or yung tawag dito, yung payoff ng isang babyface. Just like Cesaro this year. If I remember Cesaro nga pala yung malaking example on that. Or Kevin Owens during 2020-2021. But gusto ko yun, ayos lang sa akin yun. Cesaro, hindi eh. And then, I wish pa din that Becky is going to lose to Liv or they're going to save a big moment for Liv Morgan. That's a great job. But then, para sa akin, if they're going to do that nga, magandang stuff na pagtuunan. And maganda ring pangitain na if wala pa silang consideration for the 2022 Royal Rumble winner, they should bet or they should put Liv as the number one candidate for the winner. No. And di ako kontra dun. Okay, so let's move on to SmackDown. SmackDown, we got a big SmackDown episode. So number one is Brock versus Sami stuff. I love how they did this segment. Sobrang nagustuhan ko tong segment na to. Less than 15 minutes segment na to. I think they did a pretty good job on this one. Plus, Brock without Paul Heyman. It's a really good stuff. Sobrang nagustuhan ko to. As much as I hate Brock before, nagbabago na yun since nawala na yung mouthpiece ni Brock na he can speak on his own. So, the summary on this match story is Sami Zayn, nagabang siya kay Brock, in-interfere niya yung promo ni Brock. And then, suddenly, parang into niya si Sami. Dapat independent niya yung title shot niya tonight. And yeah, he got the title match. But instead, inatake ni Brock si Sami. And then, that's it for Roman. And just like that, official na yung match for day 1. Speaking of day 1, let's talk about day 1. Since medyo napipiss off ako sa kung ano yung gusto nilang stay for day 1. So day 1 will take place in 4.5 weeks. And then parang ang goal ng WWE dito is they're going to do ano ba tawag term dito? Gawin nilang annual itong pay-per-view na to. I say, hindi ko masabing basura. However, the idea of putting a pay-per-view like that will always be, hindi siya mag-work. Hindi siya mag-work for me. I don't know if nag-work siya ng December. Nilagay niyo naman sa first day of January. Ewan natin. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung mangyayari. Sige na. Let's move on. So, we got Charlotte and Tony Storm stuff. I think ito yung kailangan natin abangan pa kung ano yung magbubuong story the next few weeks. Mapupunta na ba sa title picture si Tony Storm or fluke lang yon just to fill the time slot of the SmackDown Women's Division? But I don't care. I love the pie on the face of Charlotte. And then, okay, so we got Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the title. And wala na, 6 minutes na lang yung SmackDown. Napatulog niya pa si Sami. That's funny for me. And yun na nga, yun ang sinabi ko kanina sa unang segment ng SmackDown na to. They did a really good job on Brock this time. And di nila ako binigo ngayon. I swear to God. To be honest, ito na yun. Plus, let's add the Naomi, Sonya Deville story. Because I love kung paano nila binibuild yung story between her and Sonya. And sana magkaroon din ng payoff si Naomi after this, probably win the Women's Royal Rumble as well. But I don't think Naomi will win. Okay, so yun lang for Hard Times 2, TripleMania Regia, Raw, and SmackDown. So when we come back after the commercial break, we're going to talk about some Impact, and Dynamite, plus our picks of the week. So for now, let's check our other podcast here on Pipe Network.
Sandy. Tara na, mag-record na tayo.
Okay, sige. Kuya.
This is 480 TV Pod.
The 482nd TV After Show podcast.
This season, we are going to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Tune in every Sundays wherever you get your podcast.
480 TV Pod.
From Pipe Network.
Sige na, manood ka na. Diyan ka naman magaling.
Okay. So we're back on the pod. No? So I want to remind everyone that Shopee 12/12 big Christmas sale is coming as well on 12/12. Syempre, Sunday din yun. So if you want to support the podcast, please use my links for the support, of course. That's podlink.co/bhx. Again, that's podlink.co/bhx. Put the link on the browser or pindutin nyo yung link sa description, diretso yan sa browser, and then diretso yan sa Shopee app. And then, pag nag-add to cart na kayo, darating yun sa inyo, and commissions from your orders ay pwedeng makatulong here in the podcast. So please use my link, podlink.co/bhx. Okay. So, let's talk about Impact really quick. So, sobrang tagal ko nang hindi nakapag-talk ng Impact dito. So, we need to note two things here in Impact. So, nag-debut si Jonah Rock last week sa Turning Point, beating up Josh Alexander. I know we're going to get another Moose versus Alexander, but for then, he has to deal with Jonah. Jonah is one of the biggest guys in NXT. And now he's here in Impact and New Japan. It's pretty good stuff. And then we got Matt Cardona beating up Moose. I think hindi pa yun eh. No? Matt Cardona defeated Moose or pinned Moose in a tag team match for this week's Impact. And then off-air, in-announce ni Scott D'Amore na Moose will defend the championship in a triple threat match at Hard to Kill. Is gonna be Moose champion versus Matt Cardona versus sino nga ba? Nakalimutan ko yung isa eh. Si W. Morrissey in a triple threat rules match. Okay, so yun lang for Impact news. And then, let's talk about the Dynamite. So, Dynamite, we're going to talk about that really quick. So, grabe. Kailangan pa ba natin pag-usapan to? Grabe yung murder na ginawa ng Dynamite kanina. Ng Turn on Thursday. Grabe yun, men. Grabe yung ginawa nila kay Punk. And then si Punk, ay si MJF, na-cheer siya ng Long Island crowd. Which is kind of funny for me na nag-break siya ng character. Sobrang rare kasi mag-break niya ng character yan. Sobrang rare kung makita na nag-break siya ng character. Because sobrang ganda ng paglalaro niya sa character niya. And I love on how AEW is protecting the character of MJF. No. And then, so we got 3 matches almost na kailangan natin i-props. So I love the Jurassic Express match versus the Jurassic Express and Varsity Blondes versus the Acclaimed and 2.0 matches, and then Best Friends versus Young Bucks. Tapos yung Jamie Heater versus Riho, I think the Jamie Heater stuff is the best match so far in AEW. Best match niya yun so far sa AEW. And I hope talaga na ma-write yung story nila ni Britt in the future. Parang nakalata na rin natin the past few weeks. Ganun yung mangyayari. And then the main event, it's Bryan Danielson versus John Silver. So, from Dark Order. And then, in-announce na din na we're going to get 3 matches for next week's Dynamite. So, number 1, it's the AEW title, Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson. Number 2 is si Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. And a lots of more stuff. Now, we need to look forward for next week's Dynamite. Winter is coming. Baka nga may mag-debut na naman dito eh. So, yun. Basically, ito lang. ito lang yung review natin for shows. At sige, we're going to do a fourth commercial break pa. I think, kailangan ba natin mag-fourth? Kasi we're going to do ATD this week. So very important to do ATD ngayong linggo. No? We need to do the ATD. Sobrang seryoso ko kasi dun sa stuff na yun. Okay. So, for now, we're going to do another commercial break. And pagbalik natin doon, we're going to do ATD pa. No? So, let's check our other podcast here on Pipe Network.
Dear listener, have you ever had a complicated situation with someone you love? I'm not a relationship expert, but I sure have gone through a handful of ups and downs with my own relationships. So I invite you to join in the conversation in my podcast, Sincerely Yours, where we'll talk about the discreet things we do in relationships that harm us. Some may be hard to admit to ourselves, but that's the road to building healthy relationships. I hope to see you there. Sincerely yours, Maria.
Ito, sige. Ito dapat last week to eh. Pero before we go nga pala sa ating ATD episode na to, we're going to do one ATD. Isang ATD lang to for the remaining of 2020. Grabe yung sunod-sunod yung ginagawa ko right now. And I hope you can understand kung ano yung nangyayari or kung ano yung ganap. Not really a ganap, pero sana updated pa rin kayo sa ating mga episodes sa ATD. ATD episodes is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on Google Podcast. Na minsan nilalabas ko every Monday, pero naka-long break yun as of the moment habang pinapromote natin yung Bash Awards. Okay? So ito, idadrop ko to probably sa ATD the podcast by after na ng Bash Awards. Okay. Sige. NXT 2.0. Lingid sa inyong kaalaman, few months ago, WWE decided to repackage NXT once again from being the black and gold brand to another developmental brand or another era of being a developmental company or brand. Madami nang nabago sa NXT since then. There's a lot of cheesy segments, a lot of matches na parang sa tingin natin maikli o sa tingin natin di na yung NXT standards. Sa akin pagkasaliksik ng mga nakaraang araw, we did a big observation on how NXT 2.0 runs on its shadows. Kung ikukumpara natin ito sa black and gold. If you remember, di ba, 2012, nirepackage ang NXT into a WWE Network show. And then 2019, nirepackage siya as the third brand of WWE. 2021, since they lost the AEW War, parang they had to do this just to remove kung ano yung naiisip ng fans about the war. So that's why they did this. That's why they did this. And for me, NXT 2.0 is kinda okay lang ang NXT 2.0. Personal opinion ko. 2.0 is not suck, but definitely not a must buy. Hindi ko mabuy ngayon ng NXT 2.0 as of recording. Siguro hindi ko siya mabuy because ang mga fans kasi, syempre ang natatandaan natin yung black and gold era, yung mga moments na nangyayari every takeover plus pagka-drop din ng takeover. Kaya syempre maraming na-upset, maraming na down, and I hope hindi kayo na down on that. Itong episode na ito ay parang starter sa mga hindi na nanonood ng NXT ngayon. Ito, simpleng guide lang to na pwedeng makatulong for sa inyo. I'm going to say 3 things in this podcast episode. Kung napapakinggan nyo to na nakaseparate na, it's fine. 3 things that you need to find out and to look forward. Number 1, since marami nang umalis na OG guys from the company to opposite companies or yung mga nakasign dati and then now got released or nagpa-release, whatever, kung anumang side, kung anumang pangyayari yung nangyari, wala akong pake. But, ang bagay na dapat pakialaman natin on that one is they must build their own stuff. Na, eto na yung ginagawa nila ngayon. Parang, ganito kasi yung ginagawa ng 2.0 ngayon. Na dapat di tinutulugan ng fans. Sobra kasing dami na upset from the hip-hop team to the Dynamite first era team kind of show. But wala Hindi natin masisisi why fans is thinking na nag-bluff itong 2.0. Hindi ko kayo masisisi on that. Second thing, 2.0 doesn't suck. Fact yun. Kasi sobrang memorable ng ibang spots for 2.0 so far. And last 2 weeks ng NXT is definitely a must watch. If hindi ka nanonood ng 2.0, marirecommend ko yun so far. Sobrang marirecommend ko talaga sa inyo. Kung ano nga yung sabi niya sa akin, hindi ko masisisi on that. And nakakadismaya din na fans is still sleeping on NXT 2.0. And I don't blame you guys. To be honest, hindi ko masisisi on that. Number 3, ito sabi ko nga, things that we should look forward. Tama ba ako? Oo, nag-iba-iba na yung sinasabi ko. Number 3, ito, pinaka-importante to. They should change the title belts. Wala akong pake kung yan ay NXT Women's, yung NXT title, wala akong pake. Or the tag. They should change the title belts. Kailangan na ito as soon as possible. Kasi andun pa yung hugis o yung hulma ng 2.0 or na black and gold. Andun pa yung yung memories ng black and gold brand. I hope there's a day that they're going to change the title na. But for then, sa inyong mga nanonood ng 2.0, kailangan kong magtanong. 1, kung pangit sa inyo yung 2.0, ano yung pwede nyong i-alternative aside sa Dynamite or Rampage or ibang programs ng AEW? 2, ano yung pinakamalaking downside ng 2.0? Yun ang ating i-discuss sa ibang pagkakataon. But for then, that's my attention to detail. Okay, tagal ko din nagpahinga dito sa segment na to. Okay, so ito na. We're going to do the picks for the week. But before we do the picks of the week, let me remind you guys na matapos na ang ating voting period for the 2021 The Bash Awards. votings. So, available pa yung votings natin, tinyurl.com/thebash2021vote. And you can vote one per email, no? One per Discord account, one per Facebook link. And yun, you can vote until December 14, 11:59 p.m. Manila time. And iti-drop ko yung episode next week here on the podcast. That's gonna be my final episode of the year. Now, and then picks of the week. It's time. The woman, syempre Cora Jade. I love kung paano siya nag-stole dito sa WarGames match sa women's side. Sobrang nagustuhan ko yun. The men's, no doubt, Braun Breaker. Ilang beses ko na siyang minention sa mga episodes ko. And hindi ko niregret na minention ko siya as the best, the man, the MVP on that WarGames match. And then the match of the week, obviously, men's WarGames. Wala na kayo masabi, hands down. Sobrang hands down doon sa men's WarGames match. And yun, that's it for this week's podcast. If you want to listen on the ATD episode, makapakinggan niyo siya probably next week or next week. Abangan niyo na lang. There's a lot of things pa that we need to do. So, follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Good Buds, and on these are other podcast platforms and on the podcast app that you use the most. And then, syempre, you can follow the podcast for suggestions, of course, and comments and feedbacks. You can follow the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok at the MTG Show Pod. And then, of course, sa Spotify nga pala, please press the bell para maging updated ka sa mga podcast episodes natin almost every week. And please check Attention to Detail, the podcast on Google Podcast, Spotify, and on Apple Podcast. On behalf naman sa Pipe Network, of course, visit pipenetwork.co for more Pipe Network shows. And then please follow Pipe on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube, TikTok. At saka in my social media platforms at AG Penera on Twitter and IG. Please follow me on Facebook as well. Angelo Garcia Penera, I think. Angelo Penera to. Okay. Yan lang. Yan lang ang ating episode for this week. So, this is the final episode, basically for 2021. And we're going to do the Bash Awards next week. Wala tayong wrestling review. Wrestling review natin, I think, is gagawin na lang natin yung posting on Facebook and Discord. Na? And then, doon tayo mag-recap na lang. Hanggang Wrestle Kingdom. Hanggang Wrestle Kingdom and Hard to Kill. So, babalik tayo ng podcast, regular programming on January 2nd and 3rd Friday. 2nd and 3rd Friday of the month. Yun lang for me. In behalf of the podcast, I want to say thank you sa lahat na nakikinig sa podcast, of course. And yun. Stay safe, stay reso. See you on the next podcast. And don't forget, please, vaccine na po kayo. Vaccine na kayo as soon as possible. And please, vote for next year. Utang na loob. Pucha. Ayun, bago tayo magkahiwa-hiwalay, syempre, iwanan ko sa inyo yung pinaka-paborito kong stuff from last week. From this week. Ito yung sa isang podcast din, yung shit ni Tony Schiavone. Still laughing on this stuff, to be honest. And I love kung ano yung ginawa nila with Andam. I swear. Ayun, see you at the next episode, the Bash Awards 2021. Please vote. Yan. Tony Schiavone. Let's go.
Did you know that podcasts are the new radio? You can listen to your favorite shows anytime, anywhere on demand. Visit the Pilipinas Indie Podcast and Entertainment Network at pipenetwork.co to see our list of shows. And like us on Facebook to get updates on our latest episodes, events, promos, and freebies. The Pipe Network, taking podcasting to the next level.